Hey everyone, welcome back to the Work Wherever podcast. My name's Sydney.
And I'm Roy.
And there's Roy, and today we're going to be talking about Oregon and ending their reimbursement for travel.
Yeah, how about that? It's almost like we called this one, huh?
Yeah.
How about that?
Stay tuned, guys.
You gotta let it down, 'cause you can work wherever now.
All right, guys, welcome into the Work Wherever podcast. I'm your host, Roy Edwards. I got Sydney here today. That's how you know it's going to be a good one. This is the podcast where we talk about AI, automation, the ability to work wherever so you can live every day like it is Saturday. And today we have, this is kind of like a victory lap podcast, I would say. So we have been talking about how, and I don't know the podcast number, it was probably in the early 30s or late 20s numbers, where we talked about how we thought that there was going to be political reasoning behind repopulating cities in downtown.
Yeah, probably in the 20s.
And we said that there's going to be some sort of benefit to organizations who bring back their employees. I likened it to HubZone. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't know what HubZone is when a certain percentage of your employees are in a specific area, you have the ability to get more contractual work set aside to you from the state, local, federal governments. This is not exactly what I thought was going to happen. This is not a benefit. This is more of a restriction, which we'll get into in a second. But this is our victory lap episode of a Hotspot with Sydney and Roy, which Hotspots are one of our 4 flavors. The other ones we have the Roy's Rants, which is just me putting my tinfoil hat on. Those are Sydney's favorite episodes. Then we have the homegrown episodes. That's me and Haley, where we're hanging out. We're talking about lifestyles around working wherever. A lot of homeschool, education, travel type conversations. I love those podcasts. Those are actually doing the best. And then we have the traditional formats, where we have a guest on, where we're interviewing somebody who is in the field. And those are the 4. Then this is the 4th, was a Hotspot, which is Sydney and I get together and we cruise through the internet and we pick out articles that we want to talk about and we chat about them. And so what's the article du jour?
So the article that we're talking about today is going to be Oregon. So they're ending reimbursement for state workers who are remote, like driving to the office.
And so Oregon, why would a left-leaning city stop giving reimbursements to individuals who wanted to live their life, to not work in downtown? Is this Portland? Is that where this is?
Probably.
Does it say? The answer to
Salem,
that,
actually.
Salem.
Same difference.
Huh. Okay. So the answer to that is because of money.
Yeah.
Cities are
I'll let you
in big
decide.
trouble right now. Oregon is not the only state that is having some major troubles. We had another podcast episode where we talked about state of New York, 14 billion. Is that what it was?
Something like that.
Somewhere
11,
between 12 and 14.
Something.
I think we saw different statistics, right?
Right.
Between 12 and 14 billion dollars, the city was blaming remote work.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was actually remote work or not, we said that this was not the last time we were going to see this, that we were going to start to see states and cities blaming remote culture, remote work, as to why their cities are falling apart. And of course, it makes the most sense that Oregon would come out and say, well, we're blaming remote work. I fully anticipate San Francisco, LA, maybe
Chicago,
Sacramento.
What's that one place in Georgia?
Where?
Atlanta.
Atlanta could probably do it too. Definitely San Francisco, LA, probably Sacramento, Chicago. New York has already come out and said it. Portland will probably be next if it's not already named in this article. These cities that have been falling apart because of their policies and political nonsense, I guess, is I don't even know how to word that. Just complete political
Silliness.
crap that they've been spewing for however long has led them down a terrible economic path. Mm-hmm. And the fact when everything got shut down, you had this mass exodus from cities and
You
states.
still do.
And you still have it. Right, you still have it. And the mass exodus let people leave these cities that we're talking about to go elsewhere. That's why we had that influx of people in Texas and
Dang.
Florida.
Oh, so yeah. Oh, you want to leave us? Well,
Right.
you can't because now you have to pay for it.
Boom. That's exactly. You want to become a remote worker, and so now you can't, and you have to come back. Louisiana was trying to force people back. We interviewed multiple people who there were like policies in Louisiana that were forcing people back, and we interviewed one guy who had moved to Texas, and he was saying that he worked for a really big company too. I won't say the name of the company, but very big. If I said it, you all would know who they are. And they were trying to force him back to Louisiana, and he lived in Texas. He did live in Louisiana, and he moved back with his parents. He was a
Right.
younger guy. And he was like, I don't want to move back to Louisiana. I never really liked it there. I moved there for that job, and now I don't know what to do. And I was like, damn, dude, that sucks. We didn't hire him. But he was a great kid, really smart. I wish him the best. And but yeah,
Shout out if you're watching.
yeah, shout out. This is not the last time that we're going to hear this, but what does it say exactly? What the
reinstated policy will end the pandemic-era practice of reimbursing employees who work remotely, including those who work out of state, to travel to their offices, starting September 1st.
travel reimbursements?
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yeah. Which is a lot of gas.
a lot.
I tell you what, we had our meetup last week.
Yeah.
With everybody. So we finally met some of the people that we work with, like, in different states, which is great. But I had to, like, drive into the city
Okay.
to, like, meet you in the morning, and I was
Did
like,
you
I am
have
literally...
to dive into the city?
Well, yes, where we were meeting.
At the house. That was not the city.
Well,
oh, you
You
count.
have to. I had to go through the city,
Okay.
and it sucked.
It does.
I did not miss it. Like, I texted them. I was like, I'm gonna be like a few minutes late. Like, I'm
Right.
clearly not used to this anymore.
Right.
And when I was commuting before, I was going the opposite direction.
That's true.
So, like, I was never really used to it, but
Going into Tyson's
it was awful.
is bad.
It was so bad. Like, I think at night it took me like 22 minutes.
Right.
And getting there in the morning took me like 50.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was. So what we did is our
So imagine that every day for these people.
every day, and so then this commuting aspect also, and I would assume also has to do with reimbursements for plane travel as well. So basically, what they're saying is, if you don't want
If you don't want
if you don't want to spend all
here
this money,
right.
then move on back. Come
Yeah.
on back to the city, move downtown, get these apartments, these small townhomes and apartments that you wanted before that were down the street from your work, and then you won't have to drive.
I feel like it's really targeting these people who work out of state.
It is super targeting the people who work out of state. It's a terrible idea. Because these people who are serving these companies that are headquartered in these states, like Oregon is where Microsoft is.
See this quote here. We must ensure the state resources are used effectively to serve Oregonians,
Yeah,
and that our policies reflect the evolving needs of our workforce and the public.
right. It's like, we want to do what's best for Oregon.
Well,
Which I totally get. You should
the
want to do
needs
what's
of your
best for
workforce,
Oregon.
I feel like you're not taking into
It is
consideration
a terrible idea to say, hey, we're going to make people we're going to charge you more so that you move back to Oregon. Guess what? Nobody's moving back to Oregon because of this. In fact, these people will go look for other jobs in the states that they're in.
Right. If these are the people that left anyways because they hated it so much, I guarantee you forcing them back to the office, or not forcing you back, but like
Yeah.
taking away this is not going to make them want to come back.
It's a terrible idea.
It's going to make them
gonna
more mad.
Right. All you're going to do is you're going to hurt the businesses who have
Right.
made their home in Oregon,
Exactly.
like Microsoft, and they're going to move their businesses out. And now that's going to hurt Oregon more than a couple commuters that are doing this. Because those people are not moving back. They're not coming back. Sorry, Oregon. Just like San Francisco, LA, Sacramento, San Diego, those people aren't coming back. Y'all screwed up. Okay? And you're not fixing your policies. You're diving further into this nonsense. And they're leaving, and they're going to Texas, and they're going to Florida, and they're going to Arizona, and they're going to all these other states. And they're going to stay there. And if you try to force them, the companies are going to move. Why do you think all these companies are moving to Texas, like Austin and stuff like that? Like you saw Tesla up and leave. Silicon Valley is dying. It's not coming back the way that it was. So California, I'm sorry, can't force everybody back and expect that companies are going to be happy about it when you're putting these
Right.
types of restrictions.
You're going to have no companies and no employees.
This is a
and no
stupid
people.
idea.
No residents.
Right. The smart way to go about this would be to provide benefits to them. To say, hey,
Exactly.
if you move back, we will give you this credit. Not if you don't move back, we are taking it away. Is terrible. But we called it. We said that there would be some political motives behind trying to get people back because of the economic landscape and how big cities were starting to lose power.
It's only going to get worse through next year, too. Because
It
next
is.
year's 2024.
Election year.
It's going to be awful.
It's going to be terrible. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
And really, we're going to start to see this throughout the summer and into election periods this fall, which I don't know what states are electing this year, if any of them. Because, you know, they have state and local elections
Right.
just about
I'm
every
not sure.
year. So I don't know what states are up this year. It might be Virginia. Virginia might be one of them. But either way, we're going to see elections into this fall that something is going to happen. And then you're right with the big
Well, I
big
feel like
elections
We had our election last year.
in 24. What'd you say?
I feel like we did ours last year.
Virginia was last year?
So we had, like, Northam.
Okay, yes, but our governor election was 2 years ago.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Do
You're
you know
right.
who our governor is?
Our governor right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Youngkin.
Glenn Youngkin.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was 2 years ago, I think. So there are elections coming up in November. You know what? See when the next Oregon elections are. Because that'll be interesting to see if some of these policies are going to play into this November. To see if this is just the beginning. Because I bet you I know that the economy around Oregon is
So
probably
local election, May 16th. Oh, hold on.
May 16th for local elections
In Oregon. Hold on.
So like next month coming up?
May, June. What they always happen in November, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
Election day. I mean, yeah, it's listed out as election day.
They have an election.
November 7th.
November 7th of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what they're...
I'm not sure.
I wonder what
for
they're doing.
what.
Yeah. I bet you this is going to play into it, though. This is definitely not... This is just Oregon making the first move.
But it's also like Oregon.
Oregon.
Like, they're just... I
Like,
think it's like a lost cause.
it's so beautiful out there. It's so beautiful in California. It's so beautiful in Oregon. They have it so good.
It's silly.
In terms of they have it so good in terms of their weather and their views of the ocean and their surroundings and nature that they make up reasons to just shoot themselves in the foot. I'm convinced of it.
My brother lives in LA.
Oh, God bless them.
Yeah.
I would hate
We are
it.
so opposite.
I would hate to live out there.
I didn't like visit. I mean, it's fun to visit, but I could never.
Every time I go to California, I'm like, why the hell would anybody live out here?
Put me on a farm,
It is
on a beach,
a terrible place to live.
on the East Coast.
Terrible. Terrible place. And I'm in the tech field. I'm a software engineer. I go out to San Francisco, like developer heaven startup out there, and I'm like, this is the worst place that I've ever been. Nobody wants to live out there. It is hell. It is
Rainy.
it's just awful. And so then why would you try and force people to live into these crappy cities that you're trying to build up? It's not what's best for them. You're not trying to do what's best for the people. You're trying to line your pockets with tax money, and there's always this political money motive around it. And this political war on remote work and the work wherever culture is just going to get worse and worse and worse. I will say that here in Virginia, it's probably going to get better.
Yeah, it is funny though, because you would think like in Oregon, like that their general population would be people like for remote work.
That's why it makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't. It does not fit the populace.
No.
They're saying, and they know that because, hey, the whole idea is come live in, that you've seen the California
all these progressive
ads.
places are people that like are all for remote work,
Right.
work from home. Well, it doesn't.
You're destroying your own user group.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. And you're forcing your user group into red states where it's not as widely accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're looking at a possibility of a political mind change. These people are leaving their blue utopias and heading into red country because of
real life
land and these are the people who live out in the red country typically, I don't mean to make sweeping generalizations, but typically they are more manufacturing, they're more blue collar, roll up your sleeve type people. And when you get out there and you're working wherever and you're in a cabin and you're like, holy crap, these people aren't as crazy as everybody said they were back in blue utopia. It's going to be interesting to see if some of these blue states become purple. You saw Virginia.
Or they're just going to go.
I don't think we'll see
blue.
something go blue to red immediately. Just the same way I don't think we'll see
get bluer.
Well, if they leave, it could get bluer. If everybody if it's just just a goner and just a skeleton town, I think that we'll start to see purple. I think more and more states are going to start to go purple because if you look at the left, they're doing crazy things that make no sense and they're alienating their populace. If you look at the red, they already alienated their populace. They are already kind of going crazy, the last couple people. So and by people I mean Donald Trump. So you have to be very, very careful because both the blue and the red have played into the polar. They've played into the extreme groups. And there's only way back to the middle. So I think we're going to start to see more and more purple. But when it comes to these types of policies, I think that you're going to start to see more blue states do stuff like this to try to rebuild their cities. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. In red states like ours, ours is a red state right now. Well, technically,
is that possible?
Right. I know,
it's pretty bad.
It's so bad. Technically, right now, Virginia is a purple state. We're red, but we're a purple state traditionally. I think we're going to start to see it more red to be business friendly.
Red state except where we live.
That's true. I think it is going to be a business. You're going to start to see business friendly more so than like red versus blue. Mm-hmm. It'll be like, are you business friendly or not?
Right.
And the businesses are going to go to business friendly, and the people are going to go to people friendly. Where are your taxes for businesses and people? That's what we're going to start to see a trend of. And these restrictions that Oregon's places, this is not good for Oregon. Oregon is in trouble. And it'll be interesting to see if California and New York do something similar. So, cool. We were right. Let us know what you think, guys. Are we off base here? Are we... I
don't think so.
Do you agree? Hit us in the comments below. Go like and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you to everybody who's listening on all of our audio platforms. We do have a video platform on YouTube. Go check us out there. Go work wherever. Catch this podcast and all podcast episodes. We got our t-shirts, swag. Maybe we'll put that up there. Sydney's rocking our t-shirt today. Maybe we'll get one of those and we'll get them up for sale up there. Maybe we got some coffee mugs and stuff like that. Maybe little hats, beach towels or something. Get ready for the summer.
You know what? That's a great idea. I do love my beach towels.
Well, let's do it.
They're very
There
nice.
it is. We're going to have swag up there. Go workwherever.com. Take your cloud quiz. Buy some swag while you're there. Yeah. You got anything before we head out of here?
No, that's it.
Thanks for hanging out, guys.
See ya.
See ya. Hey there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for all the latest videos from Capital Presence.